My stepdad, I believe, passed away this morning. Yesterday, well, for the past couple days, I've been staying at my mother's place to give her support right now. She she got in a minor car accident about it was on the 8th Saturday at an intersection. It was her fault, but she was, stressed out. So, um, but that she needed me to help her, so I called the insurance company, and it looks like they may forgive her this time and not raise her rates. But I called the insurance company for her and explained to them what happened, but she had to make her own statement. And then, but another thing that happened was about a week ago when she was in the hospital. One of the nurses or a nurse's aide or somebody asked her to assist them to turn my stepdad's body, and she injured her back really. And she was limping, and she said she was in a lot of pain, and she had gas and constipation and all this stuff. So I thought I better go and give her some support. My main goal was to keep her calm, to try to let her have my strength, because the Lord prepared me for this. And because I knew 2 weeks ago, that my stepdad was going to go. Because, I mentioned that I hadn't heard from Brent Spiner for about since the middle of December. And then finally, at the end of February, he Skyped me and told me what happened. And he said, Gail, the reason I didn't tell you where I was is because I had a pact with Jesus, and we couldn't let the world know where we were because it might put Church of Gail in danger. The Jesuits might take advantage of it if they knew that the major men on your marriage list were not on earth. And I really believe this. And, you can call me crazy or whatever you want, but Jesus can do anything. Jesus made a deal with the top men on my marriage list with Vladimir Putin, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, Hugh Jackman, Keanu Reeves, Brent Spiner, and Terrence Jenkins. I think I mentioned all of them. He said, I'm going to allow you to go to heaven and help me build the house for Gail's stepdad, a welcoming house for him, so that when he arrives, it'll be all ready. Jesus told Brent back in December, he said that my stepdad was going to pass away, but they didn't tell me. Jesus knew the time was soon, so he said, let's get his house ready. They built him a 3-story house in heaven. Terrence told me all about it, so did Brent. And it's got, in the walls, a lot of the bricks are made of gold. And in his backyard, he has a beach with diamonds for sand. Terrence told me that one of the rooms is like a room where they can have sex in all different positions. And Terrence told me that when my mother, when they were both younger, my stepdad and my mother were younger, that they enjoyed sex in all these different positions, and she really missed that. And when he got older, he was unable to have intimacy with her like he did when he was younger. And, well, it looks like when she goes to join him there sometime, that problem's going to be solved. And what's really strange, for the past couple of days, I haven't been here. I've been at my mother's house, so I haven't had access to a computer. And I don't use the computer at her place because she doesn't like it. Because my sister's got my mother all riled up about my internet presence, which is such a shame. I'm so ashamed of my sister. Anyways, so I basically just communicated by phone to my men. And then I spent extra time in the Bible in the morning reading the Bible, and the Lord was speaking to me. I was in Jeremiah, and I was in the passages where Jeremiah had to tell Israel, hey, you're going to get carried away to Babylon because of your sins, and if you don't surrender to the Babylonians, and if you try to fight them, it's not going to be good for you. And it was like the Lord was saying, Gail, it's time for your stepdad to go. And I'm glad you're not fighting it, and just help your mother to accept it and to be happy about it, because this is my will right now. So I just was very calm with her. Didn't shed any. I didn't want to get her. My mother has a tendency to, get really upset, understandably at this time in her life. So I just said, Mama, he's going to go to heaven. I didn't try to deny what I knew was coming, because she needs to deal with it. So I just said, Mama, he's going to heaven. And he's going to have a 3-story house. So I know it, Mama. And he has diamonds in his backyard. And you know what? Because I believed it, I think she believed it. And she's taking it really well. The only thing is, and I just want to thank Jesus that he sent my men ahead of time to build the house, because that's what makes me so strong. I'm going to miss him because he was a good man. And when I lived with my mama, and when he was so good to me, when after my divorce, and I wasn't able to go to Brent Spiner because the Jesuits blocked it with 9/11 and all the horrible things they did. He was so supportive of me. And I think he secretly communicated with my men. And in the novel that I'm writing, I'm going to show that. I believe that he had some communications with both Vladimir Putin and Brent Spiner. But mostly these are tears of joy. I'm not sad. I'm going to miss him, but it's just awesome when you have a strong faith in Jesus, how when you go through these passages in life, like death, you can take it with a smile in your heart, because there's another life. And I know where he is. He was talking to me today. I said, oh, hi, how are you? He says, Gail, I'm having a blast up here. He says, oh, it was horrible with all those tubes in the hospital. But he said, you know what? He said, we all dread death. He said, it wasn't that bad, Gail. He said, I expected it to be a lot worse than it was. He said, because I prayed to Jesus, I said, make the passing peaceful, Lord. Make it tranquil. Don't let it be a horrible experience for him. And it looks like Jesus answered my prayer. He said, yeah. He said, oh, it got a little uncomfortable there, but he said it wasn't that bad. He said, now that I'm over here, he said, I don't plan on coming back. Anyways, I got peace. I've always had peace about it, because I know Jesus. I believe in Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. But when I decided to make him a character in my novel, that's when I really got peace. I don't know. It was like that, just sort of like solemn, like it just put a cap on it. And it was like, I felt like, I feel like I'm keeping him alive by making him a character in my book. So he doesn't seem like he's gone. Like I said, he was talking to me. And actually, King David talked to me at one time. This was I watched the Bible series movie, David, with, I think it was Nathaniel Parker. And when it was over, I went in prayer and I said, I want to talk to David in heaven. Whether he can hear me or not, I'm going to try. I says, David in heaven, you're supposed to be my father. And I just want you to know, I was really moved by this movie that I saw. And he spoke back to me. He said, hi, Gail. He said, I want you to know that I look a lot like that actor who played me, that Nathaniel Parker in the movie. And that's why when I drew David, I made him look a lot like that actor. And you know what Jesus said? Jesus told my men that the drawing that I made of King David is very close to what he looks like. It's very accurate. Also, the drawing that I made of my stepdad for my book, right here. This is when he was like about 30 years old. Once I made this drawing, it was like, I captured so well his spirit and his heart, and he was a good man. And once I made that drawing, I've had peace about the passing. I made the drawing as soon as my men told me that they were making a house for him in heaven, because I knew he was going to go. Brent told me that Jesus said it's going to be soon, Gail. So I thought, okay, Lord, just help me to be strong for my mama. Right now, my mother's making arrangements with the funeral home, and I got her house nice and clean for her, did all her laundry, cooked meals for her so that she could go out and visit my stepdad without any problems, and she's taking it really well. She's got an injury, though, because she injured herself when she tried to turn my stepdad in his bed in the hospital, and she hurt her back. So she's in a lot of pain because of that. And then she's, understandably going through some stress, So I made her some really healthy, nutritious food to try to, especially to deal with the stomach problems she's been having. So I, made her some food that's good for the tummy, and I stayed calm around her and at peace, which I am, and my strength has rubbed off on her. I can tell. I helped her out. And I think she just didn't want to feel lonely, She's not used to being in that house all by herself. So it's going to take her some time to get used to it. One of the reasons, even though my mother opposes my writings, which is really sad, her mind is being poisoned by my evil sister. So it's so sad. Even though my mother opposes my writings, this next book that I'm writing, I'm doing a lot of it for her because my stepdad's going to be in there. And if she ever reads the book, I'm hoping that he's going to seem like he's still alive. That's my goal. I think he's still alive. His body is down there, but his soul, and he's got a heavenly body up in heaven. And Brent and Terrence and all my men, they told me when they were up in heaven, I said, what's that heavenly body like? They said, you can move at the speed of light. You don't have any of the aches and pains like you do here. You say, well, how do they do that? Well, Jesus actually put my men into like a coma state, where they were like in a coma state, and they went up to heaven. And they were up there for Brent was there almost 2.5 months working on this house for my stepdad. And then he just woke up. And then he Skyped me and he told me about his experience. You might say he had an otherworldly experience. You said, do you believe it? I believe Brent wouldn't lie to me. And I know I'm dealing with the real Brent. And those of you who say I'm crazy, I wish you had my faith when you have to go through something like this. I haven't lost any sleep over my stepdad's passing. I have absolute faith that he's up there in that 3-story house with diamonds in his backyard, and that my mother's going to join him someday. And I have joy in my heart, and the tears I cry are tears of joy. This has been an awesome passing. It's graduation day for my awesome stepdad, and I'm going to do him honor in my book and let the world see. He was a World War II soldier. He was at Battle of the Bulge. I'm going to see if I can work that into the storyline somehow. I'm working very hard on the book, but it's got to be a masterpiece, so I'm not going to send it out till it's ready. Anyways, pray for my mama. When it comes to stuff like this, I have a stronger faith than she does. And Jesus has communicated with me one-on-one, and I know it's the real Jesus, and knowing that is given me strength. Jesus said he would go, and he said it would be soon, and he was right. I believe it happened this morning. What's really funny is it was my last day. I ran out of my pills, and I had to go home to get more, so I needed to go home. It's funny how it timed that way. It was like it was all planned in advance. So just pray for my mama. And my stepdad, he's having a great time right now. He's in that 3-story house, and they're all giving him a big party.